Have you ever borrowed something and felt that sinking feeling in your stomach the moment you realized you lost it? It's the worst, right? Especially if it's something really important to the person who lent it to you. Well, today's story is all about that feeling, but with a twist that shows how even our small, everyday problems matter to God. Our story starts with a group of prophets. Think of them as students learning from the great prophet Elisha. Their community was growing fast, so fast that their main building, their dorm or meeting hall, was getting seriously cramped. Imagine trying to live, study, and eat with dozens of people in a space meant for half that number. It was time for an upgrade. So, one day, they go to Elisha with a plan. "Hey Elisha," they said, "this place is way too small for us. We've got an idea. How about we all go down to the Jordan River? There's plenty of wood there. Each of us can chop down a tree, and we can build a bigger, better place to live." It was a solid plan. They were proactive, ready to do the hard work themselves. Elisha thought it was a great idea. "Go for it," he told them. But then, one of the students got a little bold. He looked at Elisha and said, "You know, it would be amazing if you came with us." He wanted his teacher, his mentor, to be part of this big project. It wasn't just about needing an extra pair of hands. It was about wanting his presence, his guidance, his company. And Elisha, without a second thought, simply said, "I will," just like that. He was ready to roll up his sleeves and join his students. So the whole group, with Elisha in tow, headed down to the banks of the Jordan River. The air was probably filled with excitement and the sounds of friendly chatter. This was a community project, and everyone was pitching in. They got to work. The sounds of axes hitting wood echoed through the trees. Chop, chop, chop. Everyone was focused, making progress, feeling good about building their new home. But then, disaster struck for one of the men. As he swung his axe with all his might, the iron axe head flew right off the wooden handle. He watched in horror as it soared through the air in a perfect, terrible arc and landed with a loud plunk right in the deep water of the Jordan River. Silence, the man's heart dropped. He just stood there, staring at the spot where it disappeared. The river was murky and deep. There was no way he was getting it back. He let out a cry of pure distress. "Oh no, my master. What am I going to do? It was borrowed." Think about that for a second. This wasn't just any axe. It was borrowed. In those days, iron tools were incredibly valuable and expensive. This man was likely poor. He couldn't have afforded his own. Losing it meant he was now in debt to someone. A debt he probably couldn't repay. It was a financial crisis, a moment of shame, and a huge personal problem all rolled into one. His day went from productive and hopeful to an absolute nightmare. Elisha heard his cry and walked over. He didn't say, "Don't worry about it," or "It's just an axe." He understood the weight of the situation. He saw the man's panic. His first question was simple and practical. Where did it fall? He didn't focus on the problem. He focused on the location of the solution. The man, probably still shaking a little, pointed to the exact spot in the river. Right there, Elisha then did something that must have seemed very strange. He walked over, picked up a simple stick from the ground, and tossed it into the water right where the axe head had fallen. What was a flimsy piece of wood going to do? But Elisha wasn't relying on the stick. He was relying on God. And then the impossible happened. The heavy iron axe head, which should have been stuck in the mud at the bottom of the river, began to move. It defied the laws of physics, defied gravity, and floated up to the surface of the water, bobbing there as if it were made of cork. Everyone must have gasped. The work would have stopped as all eyes turned to this incredible sight. Elisha looked at the man, a calm reassurance in his voice. "Go on," He said, "Lift it out." The man reached out, his hand probably trembling, and grabbed the axe head from the water. He held it in his hand. The weight of it was real. The relief that washed over him must have been immense. It was more than just getting a tool back. It was a rescue. His debt was gone, his shame was lifted, and his problem was solved in the most miraculous way imaginable. This story is so powerful because it's so normal. It's not about parting a sea or calling down fire from heaven. It's about a lost, borrowed tool. It's a story about a small, personal crisis that felt huge to the person experiencing it. And it shows us that God, through his prophet Elisha, cared. He cared about that man's anxiety, his financial stress, and his feeling of helplessness. It's a beautiful reminder that no problem is too small for God. The things that keep you up at night, the little mistakes that make your stomach sink, the anxieties that feel silly to even say out loud he sees them. He cares about them. And just like Elisha asked, where did it fall? God invites us to show him exactly where our problems are, to be specific with our needs. Sometimes we feel like we shouldn't bother God with our small stuff. But this story proves that the God of the universe is also the God of the floating axe head. He is intimately involved in the details of our lives. He's a God who meets us right where we are, in our moment of panic over a borrowed tool, and does the impossible to bring us peace. So next time you feel that sinking feeling, remember this story. Remember the God who makes iron swim. He's with you, and he cares. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more. We'll see you next time.